Muy bien, ya estás de vuelta, me da muchísimo gusto y el día de hoy vamos a practicar there is y aquí hay un chiste, dice there is practice. Muy bien, pues bien, lo que vamos a practicar es de la siguiente manera. Yo te voy a leer todas las prácticas que vayamos a hacer. Vamos a practicar pregunta, afirmativo, negativo, vamos a practicar todo eso. Y lo que voy a hacer es voy a leerlo a una velocidad más abajo de la velocidad normal para que me puedas seguir. Recuerda que en todas las prácticas debes de forzarte un poco a seguirme. Ya no vamos a estar practicando como lo hicimos al principio, te doy tiempo, repites o lo lees, ¿no? Vamos a forzarnos a practicar de esta manera y en cada práctica te lo voy a estar recordando durante un tiempo y después simplemente va a estar haciendo así. Bien, pues aquí tienes todo lo que está. Simplemente sígueme, léelo si quieres también. Es importante que tanto lo que escuches como lo que veas lo hagas al mismo tiempo. Si me sigues, pero estás viendo hacia otro lado, ya se pierde cierta calidad y cierto porcentaje de aprendizaje, porque lo que estás viendo y lo que estás asociando, que es la imagen con el sonido, con las letras, lo pierdes. Así que dicho esto una vez, vamos a comenzar. Así que con toda la actitud, con toda la energía, comenzamos a la cuenta de tres. Dice, Is there an airplane? Yes, there is an airplane. No, there isn't an airplane. Is there an apple? Yes, there is an apple. No, there isn't an apple. Is there a bag? Yes, there is a bag. No, there isn't a bag. Is there a bank? Yes, there is a bank. No, there isn't a bank. Is there a bed? Yes, there is a bed. No, there isn't a bed. Is there a bedroom? Yes, there is a bedroom. No, there isn't a bedroom. Is there a bathroom? Yes, there is a bathroom. No, there isn't a bathroom. Is there a belt? Yes, there is a belt. No, there isn't a belt. Is there a bird? Yes, there is a bird. No, there isn't a bird. Muy bien. Is there a boat? Yes, there is a boat. No, there isn't a boat. Is there a bottle? Yes, there is a bottle. No, there isn't a bottle. Is there a boy? Yes, there is a boy. No, there isn't a boy. Muy bien, continuamos. Is there a building? Yes, there is a building. No, there isn't a building. Is there a ball? Yes, there is a ball. No, there isn't a ball. Is there a cake? Yes, there is a cake. No, there isn't a cake. Is there a can? Yes, there is a can. No, there isn't a can. Is there a cap? Yes, there is a cap. No, there isn't a cap. Is there a car? Yes, there is a car. No, there isn't a car. Is there a card? Yes, there is a card. No, there isn't a card. Is there a chair? Yes, there is a chair. Oh, sorry. No, there isn't a chair. Is there a chicken? Yes, there is a chicken. No, there isn't a chicken. Is there a rooster? Yes, there is a rooster. No, there isn't a rooster. Is there a girl? Yes, there is a girl. No, there isn't a girl. Is there a cigarette? Yes, there is a cigarette. No, there isn't a cigarette. Is there a city? Yes, there is a city. No, there isn't a city. Is there a cloud? Yes, there is a cloud. No, there isn't a cloud. Is there a coat? Yes, there is a coat. No, there isn't a coat. Is there a coconut? Yes, there is a coconut. No, there isn't a coconut. Is there a corn? Yes, there is a corn. No, there isn't a corn. Is there a country? Yes, there is a country. No, there isn't a country. Is there a cow? Yes, there is a cow. No, there isn't a cow. Is there a crab? Yes, there is a crab. No, there isn't a crab. Is there a curtain? Yes, there is a curtain. No, there isn't a curtain. Is there a desert? Yes, there is a desert. No, there isn't a desert. Is there a dessert? Yes, there is a dessert. No, there isn't a dessert. Is there a door? Yes, there is a door. No, there isn't a door. Is there a trump? Yes, there is a trump. No, there isn't a trump. Is there a dog? Yes, there is a dog. No, there isn't a dog. Is there an eagle? Yes, there is an eagle. No, there isn't an eagle. Is there a bulb? Yes, there is a bulb. No, there isn't a bulb. Is there a feather? Yes, there is a feather. No, there isn't a feather. Is there a fish? Yes, there is a fish. No, there isn't a fish. Okay, we continue. Is there a floor? Yes, there is a floor. No, there isn't a floor. Is there a fork? Yes, there is a fork. No, there isn't a fork. Is there a hat? Yes, there is a hat. No, there isn't a hat. Is there a hawk? Yes, there is a hawk. No, there isn't a hawk. Is there a hen? Yes, there is a hen. No, there isn't a hen. Is there a house? Yes, there is a house. No, there isn't a house. Is there a knife? Yes, there is a knife. No, there isn't a knife. Is there a ladder? Yes, there is a ladder. No, there isn't a ladder. Is there a lion? Yes, there is a lion. No, there isn't a lion. Is there a truck? Yes, there is a truck. No, there isn't a truck. Is there a living room? Yes, there is a living room. No, there isn't a living room. Is there a market? Yes, there is a market. No, there isn't a market. Is there a mattress? Yes, there is a mattress. No, there isn't a mattress. Is there a meat? Yes, there is a meat. No, there isn't a meat. Excellent, excellent. We continue. Excellent. Is there a medal? Yes, there is a medal. No, there isn't a medal. Is there a mountain? Yes, there is a mountain. No, there isn't a mountain. Is there a mouse? Yes, there is a mouse. No, there isn't a mouse. Is there an ocean? Yes, there is an ocean. No, there isn't an ocean. Is there an octopus? Yes, there is an octopus. No, there isn't an octopus. Is there a park? Yes, there is a park. No, there isn't a park. Is there a parrot? Yes, there is a parrot. No, there isn't a parrot. Is there a panther? Yes, there is a panther. No, there isn't a panther. Is there a pig? Yes, there is a pig. No, there isn't a pig. Is there a pineapple? Yes, there is a pineapple. No, there isn't a pineapple. Is there a plate? Yes, there is a plate. No, there isn't a plate. Is there a pond? Yes, there is a pond. No, there isn't a pond. Is there a purse? Yes, there is a purse. No, there isn't a purse. Is there a raincoat? Yes, there is a raincoat. No, there isn't a raincoat. Is there a ring? Yes, there is a ring. No, there isn't a ring. Is there a river? Yes, there is a river. No, there isn't a river. Excellent. We continue. Is there a road? Yes, there is a road. No, there isn't a road. We continue. Is there a room? Yes, there is a room. No, there isn't a room. Is there a sack? Yes, there is a sack. No, there isn't a sack. Is there a saw? Yes, there is a saw. No, there isn't a saw. Is there a screw? Yes, there is a screw. No, there isn't a screw. Is there a screwdriver? Yes, there is a screwdriver. No, there isn't a screwdriver. Excellent. Ya que si terminas, continuamos. Vamos bien, vamos bien. Is there a seagull? Yes, there is a seagull. No, there isn't a seagull. Is there a serpent? Yes, there is a serpent. No, there isn't a serpent. Is there a shirt? Yes, there is a shirt. No, there isn't a shirt. Is there a shoe? Yes, there is a shoe. No, there isn't a shoe. Is there a shovel? Yes, there is a shovel. No, there isn't a shovel. Is there a shrimp? Yes, there is a shrimp. No, there isn't a shrimp. Is there a sky? Yes, there is a sky. No, there isn't a sky. Is there a snake? Yes, there is a snake. No, there isn't a snake. Is there a sock? Yes, there is a sock. No, there isn't a sock. Is there a sofa? Yes, there is a sofa. No, there isn't a sofa. Is there a spoon? Yes, there is a spoon. No, there isn't a spoon. Is there a stair? Yes, there is a stair. No, there isn't a stair. Is there a stocking? Yes, there is a stocking. No, there isn't a stocking. Excellent. Is there a street? Yes, there is a street. No, there isn't a street. Excellent. Is there a table? Yes, there is a table. No, there isn't a table. Is there a tablecloth? Yes, there is a tablecloth. No, there isn't a tablecloth. Is there a telephone? Yes, there is a telephone. No, there isn't a telephone. Is there a thunder? Yes, there is a thunder. No, there isn't a thunder. Excellent. Is there a tie? Yes, there is a tie. No, there isn't a tie. Is there a tiger? Yes, there is a tiger. No, there isn't a tiger. Is there a towel? Yes, there is a towel. No, there isn't a towel. Is there a tower? Yes, there is a tower. No, there isn't a tower. Is there a train? Yes, there is a train. No, there isn't a train. Is there a truck? Yes, there is a truck. No, there isn't a truck. Excellent. We continue. Is there a turkey? Yes, there is a turkey. No, there isn't a turkey. Is there an umbrella? Yes, there is an umbrella. No, there isn't an umbrella. Is there a vulture? Yes, there is a vulture. No, there isn't a vulture. Is there a gun? Yes, there is a gun. No, there isn't a gun. Is there a worm? Yes, there is a worm. No, there isn't a worm. Y finalmente la última dice, is there a whale? Yes, there is a whale. No, there isn't a whale. Excelente, congratulations, terminaste esta práctica, me da muchísimo gusto, me da mucho gusto verte por aquí, escucharte sin importar que sea en la mañana, en la tarde, en la noche, 3 semanas, fin de semana, lo que sea, estás aquí practicando, felicítate, bien hecho. Y bien, no hemos terminado de practicar esta lección, vamos a ir a la siguiente práctica porque vamos a ir a practicar there are. Así que te veo en tu siguiente práctica. Muchas gracias, que tengas un excelente día y te mando un fuerte abrazo. Bye.